Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. I want to take time to thank Jake and Ryan over at Patriot Patch Company, that's patriotpatch.co, for being the bandwidth sponsor of this program. Got to check out their current patch of the month, wrapped in... I forgot what it is. Do you have it handy, Jim? Mine's out in the garage, though.
Oh my God, it's back in the cellophane.
Wrapped and strapped.
Wrapped and strapped.
So, the awesome patch of the month every month. So, just stop over, check out what they've got. They've got a bunch of other stuff going on too. So, that, like I said, that's patriotpatch.co.
Mini Uzi and Mac 10.
Yep.
I got some old ones here. My rifle identifies as a fishing rod.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
That's hilarious.
So,
anyway.
So yeah, just thanks to Jake and Ryan. Give them a look over. Awesome stuff.
Good guys.
Yeah, great guys. So, also want to take time to thank Sean and the gang over at Firearms Radio Network for giving us a place to hang out every week. And thank you, Jim, for joining me. Unfortunately, Mr. Trumbo won't be joining us. Also, unfortunately, Lyman won't be joining us. I'm not sure what happened, but unfortunately, they're not able to join us tonight. So, Travis will be along shortly. He's got kid duty, so he's usually about 10 minutes late. Sharenda, I have no idea. Oh, wait a minute. No, Sharenda will not be joining us. I take that back. She has a family event this evening, so she will not be joining us, unfortunately. Not a fun family event either. So.
That. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so. All right, gang. So with Lyman not showing up, we're going to do some questions and stuff. So, but Jim, what you been up to?
I went shooting.
That's good.
I went shooting Sunday. And I chronographed some loads of my Dan Wesson. I've been wanting to do that for years. I have 3 barrels for my Dan Wesson. I have a 4-inch barrel, 6-inch barrel, and 8-inch barrel. And the project I undertook was I have 3 different loads of 357, 38, and 357 again.
Yeah.
But the mild loads for the 357 have a 200 grain bullet in it.
Okay.
That's not mild, but hey.
Right.
That's what I wanted to do. And now I'm running those in a 4-inch barrel. Surprisingly, how mild it is, about 750 feet per second. But remember, that's a 200 grain bullet. That's going to see, yeah, exactly, out of a 357. It has a little impact. Oh, there's Mr. What's his name? Mr. Buck.
Buckeye.
Targets. Put a bullseye on that boy's face.
Hello, all.
Anyway, so I chronographed the mild 200 grain load. I chronographed some brisk, shall we say, 38 loads. And I chronographed some peppy 357 loads out of the 4-inch barrel. My top velocity on the 158 grain bull is about 1040. Kind of mild.
Can you hot swap that barrel? Or do you have to have a vise and everything?
No, I do it right there at the shooting bench.
Nice.
And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run that same batch of ammo. I chronographed 20 rounds of each load. That's 60 rounds total in the 4-inch barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Going to do 20 more or 60 more out of the 6-inch barrel. And then 60 more out of the 8-inch barrel.
Yep.
And then 60 more out of the Marlin 1894 barrel.
Which is a 16-inch barrel.
I think it's 18. I could be wrong. I could very well be wrong. As a matter of fact, that's a good excuse to measure the barrel while I have it in the field.
Hey, quick question, Jim. How do you measure a barrel?
You close the bolt and you insert a cleaning rod in it gently from the muzzle end, and you take a Sharpie pen or some kind of felt marker, mark the rod on the side of where it comes out of the barrel, and you measure from the end of the rod to the mark.
Excellent.
Oh, I thought it was a trick question.
Nope. A lot of people don't know that.
What? That you close it? You close the barrel because the breech face is considered to be part of the barrel.
Exactly. But a lot of people don't know that. So.
Okay, kind of an unrelated question, but it is related. Speaking of cleaning rods down the bore.
Yep.
How do you determine the twist rate of a barrel?
You take a cleaning rod with a brush, and you need the brush so it actually grabs the rifling. And then you need to put a mark on the cleaning rod itself, so that as it spins, you can tell. And so what you're going to do is you're going to start to run that cleaning rod into the barrel, and you're going to watch that mark. As soon as that mark makes one full revolution, you're going to put a mark on the cleaning rod at the crown. For those of you who don't know what the crown is, that is the end of the muzzle where the bullet comes out. So you're going to make a mark on that on the cleaning rod at the crown. Then you're going to pull that cleaning rod back out and measure that length.
You actually have to make 3 marks, Mike. Your beginning mark, your side stripe, so that you know that you've made a full 360-degree revolution. Then your third mark, which would be the measurement mark. The stripe is to take and give you a small indexing mark so that you know when you make the full revolution. Make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were reading
No,
chat.
I was thinking that you wouldn't need to make the mark because when you're inserting the cleaning rod, you're just inserting the brush in, and you've got the beginning of the cleaning rod at the crown, and then you start counting.
But you still need an index mark. It doesn't have to be a big, ugly, nasty mark. Just a tiniest little mark. But
I'm just using. Yeah, see, I'm cheating though because I'm using where the cleaning rod and the brush meet. Mm-hmm. That little line there. That's
fine. That's fine. So. That's a good start. So you don't have to. Okay, so you still need 2 marks. You need your side swipe index mark, and then you need your 12. Your end of the first revolution mark. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
You just explained the side mark a little better than I did.
Okay. So. And anyway, so I worked on that. I was going to do that Monday, but I'm on Monday, of all things. I already put it away. I got my CCW permit from Harnett County. Our county sheriff signed it. His name is Wayne Coates, and he's an elected official. So I'm giving away public information. But anyway, so I'm all legal to carry now. Only thing is, I go to work every day, and so it's like it's a real pain in the neck to take and disarm in the parking lot in a closed vehicle.
Yep, but you get used to it.
Yeah. Well, in your case, you better get used to it if you're carrying.
Yeah.
Daniel Anderson. Yep. Somebody just gave me a shout out from the chat.
So Daniel Anderson wants to know if the shot shell marking on a shell is worn, other than the head stamp, how do you identify? So I guess at this point in time, why are we if he's trying to identify what the original load was?
I was thinking to myself, if the markings on the side of the shell is worn out, you've loaded that shell too many times.
I guess that's what I'm.
I was going to say.
Go ahead, Travis.
I was going to say, just throw the thing away and get some new ones, man. Don't be so cheap that you're. But hey, Mike, I got a real question for you. I'm on both YouTube and our StreamYard. How we see Facebook users asking questions, but it's not coming up on YouTube. If you look, Ryan Rooks has a question for me, and I'm trying to respond to him, or we can talk about it here in a minute. But how do we cross-reference those two?
It'll never show up on YouTube, Travis. But we can
It
copy
only
and paste
shows-
into the private chat if you need to.
Well, no, I want to talk about it on, but I'm trying to ask him a question is what I'm getting at.
Well, you can reply to it right there in the chat.
On YouTube?
Yes.
On StreamYard. Not on YouTube. Or can't you? I don't know. Can you guys
we,
comment on StreamYard?
No, only you have that because we're
Then
not
you gotta
paying
go to
for
Facebook.
it. That's what I was, okay.
Well, you could ask Ryan to send you an email, Travis, or send it
Well,
email to the podcast.
Yeah, but we could also just talk about it. We don't have a lot going on today, I imagine, but we
Just make sure to read what he said, okay?
Yeah, I want to find out what he's using here. But Ryan Rooks, I'm going to answer you here in just a second. But his question is, opinion on 9mm round nose cast versus truncated cast bullets. Looking to get a 6-cavity mold because my 2-cavity is way too slow. I know the feeling. Loading lighter rounds for IDPA style shoots. Looking to see if you have any esoteric or input. Any experience. He corrected it as I said it. My question for you, Ryan, is what press are you using before I start telling you some stuff here? But I want to know, are you loading on a 650? Are you doing single stage? I hope not. What are you loading on? Let's I think this is a good topic for the moment here, Jim. Why don't you give your input on what you think he should be doing?
Well, to tell you the truth, we hadn't quite finished the segment on what we do this week.
Oh, okay. We can jump. Like I say, I want to find out some more. Okay.
That's a very good question. I'm going to copy and paste that.
That sounds good.
Anyway, Mike, did you do anything in guns and reloading this week?
Just worked on trying to make the reloading room less of a mess. Got the garage cleared out so my wife can actually park in the garage now, so she's happy about that.
Okay,
and
Travis,
he's loading on a Lee turret press. Ryan is.
Yep, see that.
Okay, Travis, I know you always do something.
I try to, like you say, I try to. So what did I do? Oh, posted a video last night. I don't know if anyone got over and watched it yet, but our buddy Full Ed Taco has issued a challenge. He just got 7,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel. So he decided to do a 7,000 follower kind of I don't remember what he's giving something away. You'd have to go over and check his stuff out. But it was basically shooting 7 pennies however you wanted. I don't think he had any rules. I hadn't seen anyone so far shoot it with a pistol, so that's what I did. So yeah, it was 7 pennies.
At what distance?
I wish I had my rangefinder. There's a sign there that said 10.
He just says 7 pennies period, or he doesn't.
He doesn't say it now. There's no yardage, no nothing.
No.
Just shoot 7. I mean, don't stick your barrel right up to the pennies, Mike. But he shot it with a air rifle.
Pretty sure that would cause a ricochet problem.
But I decided to shoot it with my STI. And I did walk it off. If I remember right, I had 15 steps. So
that's about 45, 50 feet.
So 15 feet, which I figured that was there's literally a sign right where I was standing that said 10 yards. 20 feet or longer. So that's what I did. I posted the video last night. I had a heck of a time doing that, I'll tell you the truth, because I was out there repairing some targets, and I just decided to take advantage of this opportunity. Had no tripod, so I dropped my phone like 10 times.
Oh.
My screen is all scratched up. I got all these. You can see these. I got all these from the rocks. I got all these little divots in there. Yeah, I was dropping it. So I didn't have any tripod, and it was just shot from my phone. I edited it last night, just posted it so you guys could at least see that. But I'll be honest, 7 pennies. I did take 9 shots to hit those 7 pennies, but I had 2 rows of 7. I actually shot the 7 in 9 shots. Then I figured I might as well shoot some at the bottom. because I didn't think I'd be able to find all the pennies. So then I did shoot a bunch more on the bottom. You have to watch the videos. I don't know how many I shot, but I was able to find 7 pennies. And yeah.
I have an idea, but I don't think anybody would approve. Put him in a wooden, put a saw kerf in the wooden dowel, shoot the wooden dowel. That way I'll get all 7 with one shot. Oh, that's right. You guys kept saying 7 pennies, 7 shots. I don't think you'd approve of my method.
Well, if we're cheating, Jim.
Yeah, Mike?
Yeah. So here's honestly here's what I wanted to do, and I wish I would have taken the time. I was hoping to get out there at some point and do it with all 3, like I do in 3-gun. I was hoping to do it rifle, shotgun, and pistol.
Yeah.
But I think it's good till the end of the month. So if anyone wants to get over there and do the taco challenge, I think he is giving something away. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to take pennies, throw them in the air, shoot them with my shotgun, shoot the pennies, and then use my rifle.
Yeah, but you got to have somebody there taking video to do something like that, because, you know, if you just shoot the penny, take a picture of the penny before and after.
Well, if I was thinking right, I would have taken the tripod, and I could just have the tripod and filmed the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That way you wouldn't have dropped.
He made it out to shoot, so that's okay.
Yeah, I went out shooting Sunday myself, but and then I just was telling the crowd that I got my gun permit. But anyway, thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that.
And he took a little slightly different version of cheating than mine. He said he shot 7 pennies glued together at 25 yards with a .223.
I'll be curious as to see what that mess looks like.
Right.
I'll bet you 7 pennies with a bullet hole through them.
The exciting thing for me is I've been working on the new reloading room here. I did get a new bench set up. I'll show you guys later, but I got a new bench set up. It's all stained. Put polyurethane on it the other day. It looks real nice. I'm real happy with that. And that's all set up. I got a casting area over there. I got my new bench set up right here. I got to paint this back wall tonight. Finish painting the rest of the wall and do some wiring. And then,
hey, are you going to paint the wall green?
I thought of that. Our one of our other co-hosts, she recommended I do like a gray. So I took a woman's advice. I went and picked up the paint color that was recommended to me. Okay, Ryan Rooks. I'm out. I can't help you. Ryan Rooks is commenting. People are giving them suggestions. He just said, also currently using A-locks and wanted to move forward with powder coating.
I think I will withhold all my advice.
I think he's moving in the right direction, though.
I can't argue with that. I'm on record agreeing with you there.
Hey, if someone could call me on my phone, you'd see what my ringtone is.
I'll do that.
Hey, you guys talk for a minute. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'll do that.
So, Jim, we can, while he's gone, maybe we could help Ryan Rooks and get him all set up.
I think that's a good idea. Let me take and show, get it wrong. Contacts. Travis Buck. I don't think I've ever called you before, so here we go. That's a hell of a good microphone you got, Travis. You really sound great.
Oops.
Can't hear you.
Well, I'll play it later. I can hear it.
I know you do.
Anyway, so Ryan, here's my suggestion. Right now, I am over on NOE's website, and I was asking you what press you're using because NOE kind of designed a new bullet mold, and I will see if I can copy and paste which one I suggest. I don't have this mold yet, but unfortunately they're all sold out, of course. but they have a nice 120 round nose 5 cavity, and it's a beveled base, so it's really nice when like on a progressive, because you can actually, it loads really easily in a progressive.
Travis said it'd be great even on his league turret press.
It's one that I want to get. So
Yep.
right there, I just posted from NOE's website themselves. That's a good one right there. I also run my preferred one, and the ones I am recommending are, of course, all for powder coating, but they do have other options. The one I prefer is a 147 grain, and it is also a 5 cavity, but NOE makes some very high quality molds.
I'd like to supplement that suggestion, Travis. It's a good suggestion. I wouldn't quibble about that whatsoever.
Now,
but Accurate Molds creates pretty good molds too, and they have a 5 cavity. And I forget the person's name already. Ryan, they also let you design whatever mold you want, whether you want the truncated cone, but you can also put a bevel base on that too if you want to, like Travis is suggesting for your progressive reloading.
So, Jeff Easley, why aren't there more cavities in bullet molds? So, I would say, for one, that is because lead is heavy. Lead is also hot when you're pouring it in those molds. So, the more cavities you have, the less materials there. So, the hotter those molds are going to get. And also, those molds can get quite heavy when you're doing a big casting session.
Yes, like a 200 grain, 250 grain cavity mold. 6 times that. Well, so what's 6 times 250? Well over 1,000 grains at a time.
Yeah. So I can jump over to Lee's website hesitantly.
That's 1,500 grains at a time. That is close to 3 pounds of lead at a time every cast in the 6 cavity mold.
Yeah. So those are the molds that I personally like. I know I'm just jumping over to Lee's website right now. They have a nice 6 cavity 124 grain that I've used a bunch, and it's perfectly fine for powder coating. And they do have a nice truncated one, if I remember right. So, yeah. So, can't figure out how to click on the exact one I want here. So, I'll just type it up.
While you're typing, Travis, I want to answer Cody Charlton's question. He wants to know, did I ever get that bench built? Cody, I've been reloading for a little bit. I'm still reloading single stage. I haven't figured out how to get that Dylan up on that particular bench setup I create. I might have to take and drill more holes in my bench. That's one thing I wanted to avoid, but whatever. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Cody.
So that is the part number for the Lee truncated. That is a pretty good one. And these all come in 6 cavity. And then you're good. And they also have a tumble lube for, I powder coated with it too, but it's for Jim's preferred method.
He's talking about Alox, folks. He's got a allergy to that. An allergy so bad they created a ringtone using my voice.
So there's another truncated one. That's the one that I've used. I've used actually both of these, and that's the tumble loop design one is the one I prefer. And then they basically have the same tumble loop 356-124. Should be 2R. Yep, 2R, and that's a round nose tumble loop design, 6 cavity. That's also a good one.
Paul Loud's got a good comment in there, and his comment is MP Melicific MP molds is another excellent choice 4 molds, and he offers up to 8 cavities. Wow, that's a lot. That's going to be a big old long mold.
Yeah, that'd be nice though.
Yeah.
Hey,
one
Russ.
One of the Canadians chimes in. We should ban high capacity molds. Think of the children. So
Russ Brumbelow, I haven't seen him in here for a while. Russ asked, he says, did I move away from the 135 grain NOE mold? No, I still have that one. That's a good one too. Right now I'm shooting the Acura 147 grain projectiles. They're excellent. And then I haven't honestly I haven't cast for quite a while because of that, but I do really like the 147 NOE mold. I honestly have not tried an M&P or an Arsenal.
you should get on that.
I should. It just costs money, right?
Right? Well, you got plenty of it.
I don't.
It's because you spend it all.
I spend it all. You guys need to buy more targets so then I can go out and buy more stuff, I guess.
I should get around to buying that dueling tree. Or is that not officially released yet?
No, it's been out for a couple years.
Oh, okay. Or no, there was a newer one you were coming out with that I was looking at.
Can't
Not a
remember.
dueling tree. I'll have to think about it. So, anyway, by the way, that's BuckeyeTargets.com.
.com. So, Mike, when you do start casting,
Yes.
what is it going to be? I know I'm guess it's going to be a 40. Is that going to be your first casting session?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Because I've got some 9mm molds too.
That's good.
From some guy.
So
I don't even know
here's
what they are. They're still sitting on the shelf somewhere.
Once you get casting, Jim can probably attest to this. You start getting kind of frugal with your lead. So like you can cast 9mm 124 grain, and then you can also cast 45 ACP 230 grain. And each time you do that, you kind of cringe like how much lead you're using up.
Exactly, because when you shoot 230 grain, you're shooting almost exactly twice as much lead as you would be with a 9mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I cast for the 458 SOCOM, my lighter mold for that is like 354 grain.
God.
So I try not to do a whole bunch just because I'm frugal with my lead.
Travis, what's your heavy bullet?
I think it's 500. 500.
Over an ounce of lead every time he shoots that rifle.
I know Taco. He has one. I think he came up with a different one, but he has a 600 grain mold. He might have. I want to say he had a bigger one too, 700 something grain.
That's got to be a subsonic load.
They are.
Okay.
I think Taco has a suppressor for every rifle he has.
Yes, yes, he does. And a couple of spares.
Yes.
So Russ
that takes some
Brumbelow.
money too. Go ahead.
So Stephen D wants to know, what about casting 45? Actually, okay, so we're going to clear up something right here. Stephen D, there's no such cartridge as 45 LC.
I'm laughing at Mike's comment, not Stephen D's question.
Okay.
45 long Colt is actually 45 Colt.
Yes.
There
never was a 45 short Colt. How it came about was courtesy of John Moses Browning. Because John Moses Browning created this certain caliber called 45 automatic Colt pistol. And if you take a 45 Colt and a 45 ACP and put them next to each other, the 45 Colt's quite a bit longer than the 45 ACP. So they started calling 45 Colt 45 long Colt to distinguish. Now, it's pretty common and everything, but I'm just letting everybody know that there literally is no cartridge called 45 long Colt. It's just 45 Colt. So when you're looking for stuff for it, like casting and everything else, you're looking for 45 Colt, not 45 LC or 45 Long Colt. So some of the books will actually list it as a 45 Colt, and then in parentheses, or they'll say 45, or they'll say Long Colt.
All right. We'll talk about that, but really casting is casting. Let's address Russ Brumblow's question.
Yep.
About the antimony ratios. Okay, good question. Russ, it's real easy. Lyman alloy number 2. It's considered to be the just about perfect alloy. You say you have 400 pounds of pure lead and you want to turn it into number 16 Brunel hardness. Okay, that's fine. All you got to do is measure out 100 pounds of your lead, deduct 10 pounds from that, that's 90 pounds, add 5 pounds of antimony, add 5 pounds of tin. Now you've got yourself 100 pounds of Brunel number 16 Lyman number 2 alloy. It's really that simple. Yes, you have to melt it all down at one time, but if you come up with a big enough pot, you'll do it. You'll have the method. And yes, you can also cut the proportions down to 50 pounds, which is about 45 pounds, I think it is, 90%. Yeah, 0.9. So 50 pounds of alloy, 45 pounds of lead, 2.5 pounds of antimony, 2.5 pounds of tin. Alloy them all together, and you will have your Lyman number 2 alloy, 16 Brunel hardness, and you'll have 50 pounds of fun.
Yeah, and honestly, lead weighs quite a bit, so you might be surprised at just how little, like a pot you're using, how heavy that pot is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I was just looking for those, Russ, what was the other gentleman's name?
Stephen D's wanting to talk about casting 45 Colt.
And
then Ryan Rooks. This right here is an excellent book, the Lyman Cast Bullet Handbook. It's got everything you need to know about casting, and it even has, like what Jim was just going over. They've got a alloy formula right back here. So it gives you everything. So Jim basically just told you, like right here, the very top one is Lyman number 2 alloy, 15 Brunel hardness, and it tells you exactly. So here's what Jim just went over, and here's a smaller scale of that. So this is for making 10 pounds of 15 Brunel hardness alloy, the Lyman number 2 alloy that we were just talking about. It's basically 4 pounds of lineotype and 6 pounds of wheel weight.
It's a variation. It's the same recipe you'll wind up with. Very good, Travis. 4 pounds of line type and what's that? 6 pounds of wheel weights.
Yep.
But that's got to be lead wheel weights.
Lead wheel weights, and then here's this. The nice thing about this is they give you all kinds of good info. So like here's the same exact thing, makes 10 pounds of number 2 alloy, Formula A, 9 pounds of wheel weight, half a pound of lead, pure lead, and half a pound of tin. And the reason this Formula A doesn't show any like lineotype or antimony or anything is because the wheel weight is what has that antimony in it. So you're getting your hardness from the wheel weights. You're kind of cutting that with the pure lead, and then the tin. I maybe you guys seen this post the other day. A guy was saying basically the same thing. He had a couple 100 pounds of pure lead that he was wanting to harden up, and he was posting something about how he couldn't find tin because he needed tin to harden up his lead. Tin actually doesn't harden your lead.
That's right. The
tin really helps out with the flow and filling out your molds. So you've seen people comment about how like, and everyone always says the same thing. They'll post a picture of a bullet. It's all wrinkly. It's not filled in all the way. First thing to check would be what, Jim?
Mold temperature.
Make sure your mold's up to temperature. if your mold's up to temperature and you still consistently get that wrinkly bullet, not filling the mold out all the way, that tells you that you need to add some tin. Good source of tin is pewter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a little something there. Here's another formula, Formula B. And this is for 10 pounds of Lyman number 2 alloy. That's 4 pounds of lineotype, half a pound of lead. Well, this is kind of odd. Let's see. Half a pound of lead, half a pound of tin, and then it says 5 pounds of lead. I don't know why they did it like that. So it's half a pound of lead, half a pound of lead, half a pound of tin, and then put in 5 more pounds of lead.
That's got to be a typo. That it made its way to the publisher like that.
So basically, the easiest thing, Jim said it perfectly, though. The Lyman number 2 alloy is 90% lead, 5% tin, and 5% antimony. Doesn't matter how you get to that ratio, just figure out how to get that. That's adding pewter, adding antimony. That antimony for us coming from lineotype. What's that? Rotometals. They sell something called hard cast or hard ball. That's what you would want to get to harden some lead. It's pretty expensive stuff, but you're buying that because it's basically certified. They guarantee what you're getting.
Russ, if you need any advice on how to take and figure out how much lead that Dutch oven of yours will hold, send me a private message, friend request, whatever. We'll discuss that offline. It involves using water. It's real simple. Well, okay, to answer the question on the air, what it is you just simply measure how much water that pot will hold, reduce it by about 1 inch for safety, reduce below the water level, and then once you do that, you actually capture the water, measure it out to see how much water you got in weight, and that way you can tell how much or how many cubic feet you have, cubic inches of water you have, and then in turn you can convert that into lead. But I would bet that a big Dutch oven should easily hold 100 pounds. Pewter contains lead, Russ. Well, he was asking about why would Travis suggested lead. What does it do for pewter to harden up lead? Well, it doesn't harden up, like he said. Adding the pewter improves the fill out of the mold. That's what Travis went over.
And the nice thing, if you powder coat, you can kind of cheat and not go for as hard of Brunel hardness on your lead. You can kind of keep it a little bit softer, because honestly, lead's getting harder to find.
Thereby saving that money and saving the money for hardening it up. You don't want to shoot pure lead, I would think. Have you ever tried that, Travis, a powder coated pure lead bullet?
It works, but I've talked to Mike before when I first started doing this. I did get some leading because, it's a little too soft.
Okay.
But also, a lot of the times, straight wheel weights is awesome. Just melt straight wheel weights, not the sticky ones. Sticky ones are pure lead. The actual clip-on ones, they're pretty good Brunel hardness just all by themselves.
That's right. Well, the other thing is, too, you before even that, once you get to wheel weight, you've got to test to see whether they're steel, zinc, or lead.
And here's how I do it, and to me, this is the easiest. If you can go, say, Harbor Freight or somewhere and just get you one of those laser temperature gauges, or they even have actual lead temperature gauges, thermometers you can stick in there. Just stick it in there, get some lead. I always leave a little lead in my pot, so you could heat that up, get it to about 750, and zinc melts at what was it, 900 degrees, 9 something.
That sounds right.
So if you can keep your pot at that 700 degrees, lead melts at 698 or something like that. Anyway, that way you can melt your lead not melt zinc to contaminate, and then you're obviously not going to melt iron wheel weights, and you just stay right there, mix everything up, and skim off the top, and just put the rest in the trash bin.
Melting point of zinc is 787.2 Fahrenheit.
787. What was lead?
621.5.
So I'm going to keep your pot about 650. So you have about 150 degrees temperature difference.
Yep.
Too cold to melt the zinc.
Bye.
So Jorgen asked, okay, 1 gallon of lead equals, see, that's...
One
So
gallon
Paul
of lead
Nelson
equals
says,
94 pounds.
yeah, you wouldn't think that.
Close enough to 95.
Why? It's really dense, so why wouldn't you?
I know. That? Well, I mean, when you think about it, though, like a gallon of water is 8 pounds, and then a gallon of lead is almost 100.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I say, so a 10, 12-inch Dutch oven, that's going to hold 100 pounds for sure. 12-inch one would.
Yep.
Paul Loud's got a very good comment in there. He uses a Dutch oven from Harbor Freight. It holds a lot of lead and is about the most affordable pot. And Jeff Davies has a comment. So how hard do your bullets need to be if you powder coat them? I get lots of pure lead. Well, we just went over that, Jeff, that Travis was just saying he tried pure lead powder coated bullets. Didn't work real well. He had to take and harden them up a little bit so that they wouldn't lead his barrel up a little bit.
Yeah, the powder coating is a good cheater for stuff, but you still do need to have some Brunel hardness.
Yep.
You can't use pure lead.
So Andy's 79Z28, who's got quite a few videos on the topic, says zinc makes good bullets.
But you have to have a pot hot that'll handle the temperature.
Mm-hmm.
I have a cast iron mold for my 44 Magnum bullets. I'll have to try that someday.
Oh man, we went over this one time.
Mark, stop. Full stop. Sell the birdshot and buy lead. Or buy something else to harden up regular lead. Don't melt down birdshot. It's too hard to make.
Recycle it if you have to.
You will find lots of people that will buy that birdshot from you at a good price that you can turn around and go that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea because, in all honesty, birdshot is pretty high in like antimony, and you really could harden up some lead with it. But it's just a shame to melt that down to do that when you could find another source. You can't. We went over this in I forget what episode it was, but it's too hard for us casters to make birdshot. And the last time we went over this, a viewer had like 400 pounds of birdshot he was thinking of melting down. Yep. And I adamantly was like, just keep that for yourself. Maybe if you're not like loading for shotgun now, you may in the future. And then you'll look back and say, I was a real idiot for melting all that down.
Yeah, you can turn around and you can sell that. Even if you want to give your buddy a good deal, you can sell that at 25 pounds. You can sell it at $1 a pound if you want to make a good deal to somebody. If you want to really $1.50 a pound, and nobody's going to bark at it. So sell your shot for $1.50 a pound, and use the money to get stuff to harden your lead a different way. Don't melt the shot.
Russ Brumbelow, happy you dropped in.
Yeah.
You're a good friend of the show, and we have not forgotten who you are. Hopefully we'll see you next episode.
My wife is picking on me.
Good.
She hasn't slapped you yet, so she's not picking on you too much.
Yeah, well, she just found out that I can cook lead, but I can't cook food.
Tell her to try and eat your lead and see how she thinks.
No, I'm not going to go that way.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll
So-
go on
The
that way.
lead doesn't taste very good when you cook it.
So Reloader 762. This is okay right here. He says, I shoot 50-50, pure will weights to will weights. Sorry, I
Pure
said
lead.
pure
Pure lead
lead
to wheel weights.
to will weights. He powder coats and water quenches, and then he puts them in a toaster oven. So what that right there does is, so he's got pure lead, and then he's got the will weights. So he's bringing up the Brunel hardness to his mixture right there with that ratio. But then what he's doing is he's water quenching. So the water quenching also raises his Brunel hardness, and then he's powder coating it. So he's kind of cheating the system there, and that's what I like about what we do. Is you can kind of stretch that lead out by doing it the way he's doing it, and then by water quenching, you also extend that Brunel hardness to what you're getting. I bet you he's in the area of somewhere between 12 and 14 on the Brunel hardness scale, and then water quenching it, he might be bringing it up a point or two more there, and then powder coating it. That's perfect right there. It looks like he says he's casting for his 30-06, 2,300 feet per second.
So
2,300 feet per second in 06.
he
probably 100.
quenches after it comes out of the toaster oven from powder coating. So he doesn't let them cool down from the toaster oven. He quenches them out of the toaster oven from powder coating.
So
anybody was wondering about that.
Yeah, I cast, and then I go right from casting into a 5-gallon bucket of water. So I'm water quenching that way. And then after I powder coat, they come straight out of the oven, back into some water, and water quenched again.
Yeah.
I really want to find a good hardness tester so I can get an accurate, find out what my Brunel hardness really is.
I believe Redding sells something for different than what Lee does.
Yeah.
It's a Seiko hardness tester. I think Redding still handles that. But no, what the Lee does is that you have a dimple that you put on there, a penetrator. You put it in your press, and you do have to follow the directions. But what they actually have is like a 2-power microscope that you set directly on the edge of the bullet, and you use that for measuring the diameter of the indention from the penetrator, and then that measurement that you take, however many thousandths it is, you take that measurement and convert it. You have a chart that tells you how hard your lead was. Works real good on a flat nose bullet. Andy's 79 Z28 came up with a suggestion for you, Travis. Cabin tree hardness tester for $120.
I'm looking it up right this second. Oops, page not found.
Oh, Cabine Tree or Cabine Tree?
Yep,
Yeah, they I think went out of business.
Well, I found their site now. I'm looking right at it. Yeah.
Yeah, he sold off part of the business.
See, I want something like that. I'm not really into the Lee tester. My buddy had one. I wasn't real impressed.
Cowboybullets.com to get the lead tester.
Yeah. I can say I've talked to Bacon. He's 3D printing a pretty nice little setup, though, for that Lee tester.
Yeah, that nice holder he's got.
Yeah, that right there really brought up and to me made that Lee tester something that I would consider.
Yeah.
So let's clear something up real quick, though, for Jeff Easley. He's slightly confused. He's asking, who was it? Reloader 762, his comment
By the way,
about
LZ.
LZ. So Reloader 762's comment of 50-50 mix. So what he's talking about is Reloader 762 is using 50% of his mix is pure lead. Let's just say he's using pure lead sticky wheel weights, And then the other 50% is the clip-on wheel weights. He's mixing those two together. He is not. You do not want to mix zinc and lead, Jeff.
Nope.
Those are a bad combination.
Does not work.
Now, if you talk to Andy, he's going to persuade you to start casting zinc, and that's a whole nother. That's
rabbit hole.
I'm going to be like Jim, and for me, I'm going to say no.
Travis is imitating me. Flattery is the most imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. God, Travis.
So Ray Rowden says in the chat also you can check bullet hardness with pencils.
He's right.
I think he's going to try and post the YouTube video, but we've posted it in previous shows too. But there is a way out there to test lead hardness using pencils.
Yeah,
so, that's right.
I've always, for those who are into casting, there's a really good guy. YouTube, I call him one of the godfathers of powder coating and stuff. It's Fortune Cookie 45 LC. What I've always used is just the fingernail test.
That's a little rougher than it's a little rougher than the pencil test, but it works.
Like the cocaine test, the fingernail for the cocaine. Scrape a little off and taste it, and that tells you how hard it is.
Something like that.
That explains so much, Travis.
Chris Sharp just nailed you hard, Travis.
Never gonna happen.
That's like trying to get Travis to cast and reload for 40 and shoot it.
I'll cast for it. If you ever get your package from Iceland delivery services, you'll have some of those.
That's gonna go out Saturday.
We've heard this before.
So, well, the reason I've been holding it up isn't gonna happen, so I'm just gonna send out what I've got.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling Jason too.
No, the reason I've been holding up is Jim had made me, before he moved, he had made me 2 plates to go into my Lee bench mount for my Hornady Lock and Load AP and my Dillon 550. But the problem was my 550 started out as a 450, and so the bolt pattern wasn't the same as his 550. So the nice, awesome plate that he made me for the 550 doesn't work. So, and I've been trying to figure out a way to mark accurately so that I can ship it back to him and he can punch the new holes, because it's hardened steel. So, and I haven't figured out.
Yeah, that's that stuff they call tough coat.
Yep.
So why not just go and find just a regular piece of A36 steel and drill it yourself?
Because I don't need to. The idea was the plate actually is one solid mount for both presses.
Yeah, that was the idea.
So
had 2 sets of holes, but no, Mike, can you create something out of wood?
Yeah. So Andy79G28 says, just a point for information. Zinc comes in at 40 Brunel.
Ooh, that might be hard and start getting hard on the rifling of the barrel. Whomever that gentleman is, Mike, have you seen him on Facebook?
I'm going to look now.
We've got a question from a Facebook user, 0901 PM. Local scrapyard buys lead for 30 cents a pound. Does it make sense to try and buy this lead to use for casting bullets? Absolutely, it does, but it depends upon the price the scrapyard wants to nail you for, or they may even have their lead under consignment where they sell their lead to recyclers. There's 2 downfalls of that.
So yeah. That is Brian McClure, and Andy said that he comes back with Full Metal Jacket is 80 plus on the Brunel.
Oh, okay.
So not even close. But yeah, you would think that, we're used to dealing with lead, which is a high hardness is 18 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
And then you throw out a number like 40 something, you're like, oh, But now that you know
Well, I didn't know that
more
about
data.
I didn't have more data, the data about
Right.
the FMJ ammo.
Yeah, so now he gives us the data about FMJ, and we're like, no big worry. So.
Actually, the arcane. I asked a question, a challenge to the listeners about arcane bullets. No one ever answered me, but the Germans created arcane ammunition back in W2, and what they did was it's a pointed bullet. Works like it's a cone, very conical bullet, on the order of a funnel, without this sharp point, and it creates like cavity tissue damage on the order of a hollow point. But anyway, they used to make those bullets in World War II, and they made them out of zinc. Ran it through the Lugers and with zinc. It wasn't in big production. That's why they call it arcane, because it's kind of mysterious. Good point, Paul Nelson.
So Reloader762 said, going to be playing around with some alloy and copper into my lead casting alloy. Several ways dissolved in the mix. Only need about 0.5% to 1% to make the bullet tougher, and it raises the hardness.
That'd be interesting.
And then Paul's good point. Have you ever seen a pistol barrel worn out from shooting lead bullets? No.
You never will.
There's a shout out for you, Travis.
Oh, yeah. I honestly think so. Got an email from, we'll just call him David. He had some questions on some FW Arms stuff, and I kind of helped him, gave him my suggestions on some stuff. I honestly think FW Arms makes some of the best stuff in the industry. I've been running their standard. I think all of us here in the panel, we all have FW Arms decapping and swage backer setups.
Yep.
They're awesome.
Yep.
I can't say enough good things about those. I've been testing for him his brand new setup, which if you can believe it, it takes his decapping die and makes it even better.
Oh, nice.
It's got a spring in there, so it actually flicks the primers off. And you guys know I did over 20,000 pieces of 9mm brass a couple weeks ago, and that's the decapping die I used, and it ran awesome. What I really like that he makes, and he needs to come out with the 9mm version. If you're listening, Will, hurry up with that. He makes awesome shell plates for the 1050.
Aha.
And I've had some other shell plates from Dylan. I've had other brands. And the ones that Will makes are top of the line. I'd like to do a video at some point on all the stuff I've gotten from Will and show off how nice it is, but he puts some nice angles on the shell plate so the brass feeds very, very smoothly into the shell plate, if that makes any sense. Some of these other brands that I've used, when you're running an auto press like I do, high rate of speed, that's where the issues start popping up, is getting that brass to transition into the shell plate. And the way that FW Arms makes theirs is it's just super smooth. I haven't had any hang-ups, no misfeeds. He's got these clean out cuts on the bottom, so any debris gets cleaned out. Currently, he only has those for I think it's number 3 shell plate, which is a 223 300 blackout. I've been bugging him to get the 9mm one out and released. If you guys are looking for anything Reloaded relating, go over to fwarms.com and at least give them a look. Their decapping dies, I think every one of us can attest to how awesome his decapping dies are. And I know a lot of guys in the chat right now have purchased those, and I know that they would say the same. And I'm not just saying that because I've gotten a free decapping setup from him. I've purchased from him. I have purchased from other companies. I have used multiple decapping dies, and I'm just telling you my honest opinion that if you're looking for a decapping die, FW Arms is the way to go. Sorry, I don't even know where we got started on FW Arms, but from David's comment, yeah. David, you're welcome.
Anyway, yeah, we migrated right into casting. Did we finish shot shell and shot shell stuff? Well, Travis probably isn't set up right now to do that anyway.
No, we're not even close, but I've got a couple of people that we're going to have working coming on. So. All right. So, Jim, you've got a question for tonight.
My question is real simple. And it's hopefully the YouTube chat panel, the folks in the chat will be able to address it. And maybe the listeners of the podcast, send us an email at reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. My question is real simple. What do you think is the best way to teach a new shooter to shoot? We could start by putting it on paper. The 4 rules, Colonel Cooper. Always treat every firearm as if it were loaded. Jim's rule is it probably is if you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that sort of thing. We could do that. But I'm talking about the physical stuff, not the mental stuff. Don't point that gun at Mike. That gun might be loaded. Don't and then laugh. No. We don't do that. We don't play that way.
Nope. So, you want to set them up to succeed, but you want to set them up to have fun too.
Yep.
So, I guess it depends, and some of that's going to depend on what they're going to be doing. If they're just going to get into shooting to shoot, set them up with a nice 22 with a nice red dot on it, 25 yards, steel target if you can.
Handgun or rifle?
Rifle.
Yep. What are you going to shoot? Grapefruit, Campbell soup can, grapefruit juice can, 5-gallon bucket, coffee can?
If you're stuck shooting paper, get a fun target. Get a different shapes.
So like you just said, Mike, I've taken my when I took my little kid out, she was probably, I don't know, 5, 6 maybe. She's got her own little Ruger Charger takedown, and it was a huge difference and more exciting for, I would say, anybody to have anything that was reactive, be that steel target or some of those what are those, like rubber jumping jack targets, anything like that, anything that actually reacted versus just a piece of paper putting holes in it. Kids, their attention span, and most of us adults, our attention span is not, we're short-lived. So anything just putting holes in paper, you kind of lose interest pretty quick. A lot of us, we're going out testing loads and stuff, and we're finding it enjoyable to put holes in paper, seeing that group size. But new shooters, they don't care about the group size. They just want to hit something. So having anything steel target, anything reactive is a huge plus.
And worst case scenario, clay pigeons. If you're at a range that they've got, because like at the range I go to, they've got a trap range right next door. Mm-hmm. Trap doesn't usually shoot the same day I'm out there. So go wander over to the trap range, pick up some pigeons, because you can find a lot of whole ones. Bring them back and shoot them. So Paul Nelson said, after teaching 2 daughters, a granddaughter, and a wife, there's no one way to teach, as each one was different. And that is a very important point. Another important point, husbands, as a general rule, do not try and teach your wife.
Chris Sharp's got a good one. You want to highlight that, Mike?
So Says, make it fun for the person, but at the same time focusing on the fundamentals of shooting so they learn the right way and we're less likely to be developing bad habits.
Well, like Travis said, reactive targets, you get a ball, one of those shooting balls, or even one of those walking targets that the steel ones that they ping, and the instant gratification when they hear that ping and they see that target tumble, they know they've actually hit a difficult target.
Right. What I actually was doing was I was buying a big pack of balloons and blowing the balloons up and then putting those balloons on the paper target for my kid.
Yep.
And then I was also just bought some cheap Sam's Club or something soda and let them shoot the soda cans, because once they see a soda can explode, they're kind of they have no choice. You just force them into liking it.
Right. Another thing you can do is get those shoot and see targets.
Yeah, that's a reactive target also.
Yeah. But a lot of ranges are going to paper only. And so that's something you can do with paper only. And what you can do is you don't have to take the actual fancy target out there. Take the cover-up dots, put them on your paper target, and have them shoot the dots. Ray Rowden said once they have the basics, take them to an Appleseed shoot.
I need to do that for myself.
So Appleseed, for those of you who don't know, is a marksmanship training program that is based off the Army marksmanship program, and a lot of a lot of Revolutionary War history leading up to. So it's awesome because not only do they go through the history and everything like that, they teach you how to shoot. So.
I like Idaho Rogers' suggestion.
Not always an option nowadays. Yeah.
Just tell your kids if they want to eat, they got to go bring it home themselves.
Yeah. So Jim Manaw says he'll generally start by drawing out what a proper sight picture should be. That sight picture can be used on any target. That's one of the nice things about Appleseeds is they really go into that whole sight picture, and really break it down and explain why, how, and they have demonstration pictures of what each different set of sight types would look like at a 12 o'clock hold and a 6 o'clock hold for your target. They go into explaining all that. They really go into great detail, and they really teach marksmanship. So,
yeah.
Well,
Mike, Jim, would you guys? I'm just going to say this, and I think this is the kind of the key and the trick. We always have to focus on safety, no matter what, right?
Right.
Safety is key. So keep that safety in the back of your mind right now. So no matter what we do, safety is going to be there. But the trick is for new shooters. Honestly, I would say don't bore them with all this sight picture,
right?
Drawing out pictures for them. Just skip all that for now. You want to get them hooked with having fun. The fun part is what's going to get them hooked, and then later on, once they're hooked, they'll ask you questions.
How do I get better?
Exactly, and then that's when you start leaking out all this info. But us as humans, we always want to take the path of least resistance, all this kind of stuff. We also want to have fun. So if you start off with hounding them with sight alignment, all that kind of stuff, depends on what you're doing, of course. But no matter what you do, make the first priority safety, and then the second fun and enjoyment, and then all the rest after that.
Mm-hmm.
Greg Wyatt put up something, and I wanted to combine Greg Wyatt's suggestion with Mike's suggestion of using cheap soda cans. You start them out on BB pistols or rifles. Same sight picture, but cost less. You can shoot thousands of rounds for a few pennies. He's absolutely right. I have an air rifle right here at the house, single shot, side cocker, and you take and ping that into a pop can, it's going to be almost as effective as a 22.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a heck of a nice explosion. Well, the can will burst, pop open, whatever, and do it from 10, 15 feet away. That way nobody gets a mess. And you're right, Travis. Safety's got to be there. But we can do it that way and have fun.
That's one of the fun things about shooting pop cans with a BB gun is listen to the BB go inside the pop can.
That was most of my childhood, right
That
there.
was fun. I mean, that was the fun part is listening to that
That
BB
is the
roll
key.
around inside that pop can. So,
Safe but fun.
right.
Yeah. So Idaho Rogers made a comment just a little bit earlier ago in the chat. He said by the age of 9, he was basically set free with who knows what. We'll just say a BB gun. I'm sure it was in Idaho, but I'm going to say it's a BB gun just so no one gets mad. And then just turned loose out on, a couple acres of land and just was out having fun. And honestly, that's what I did. I grew out kind of out in farmland. We had 5 acres, but all around us was just acres and acres of farmland. I remember I can't imagine doing this now as a parent, but I would wake up and I'd be gone all day. My parents never came looking for me. They were probably happy I was gone, but I would wake up, grab my BB guns, grab my dogs, and we'd just go out exploring and, shooting all kinds of stuff with my BB guns. And to me, that was the funnest thing. Nowadays, kids just don't get to live like we kind of used to,
No.
and that's a shame.
So Daniel Anderson said 4-H clubs. Get them involved in that. So here's the deal with 4-H clubs. If your county 4-H has a shooting program, they start shooting air rifles right away.
Mm-hmm.
So they can start shooting air rifles at the end of 3rd grade when they joined 4-H. So, Paul Nelson said he's got a Daisy air rifle with no sights to teach youngsters to shoot shotguns. That's a good thing. I mean, when you're shooting pop cans, usually you're lining it up by eyeball sight anyway, kind of like you do with a recurve. So, and Idaho said the only safety message was got was don't shoot your sister. Sounds fair.
Greg White came up with a follow-up comment, and it's
he's
rolling
true.
soda cans.
That is absolutely fun. I don't know how many times my brother and I used to do that. Although we didn't use Red Riders, we had pump guns.
Yeah.
Rolling soda cans across the yard with a Red Rider faster than your partner is always fun. Yeah, it's a duel, is what it is. A shooting duel. Like we were talking about Travis's dueling tree. I've shot a dueling tree with someone, and it's a lot of fun trying to force him to have to shoot everything back that I send his way.
Yep. And they make air rifle dueling trees. I don't think Travis has any. It's not really a market for Travis, but they do make air rifle dueling trees. So.
Well, the reason why I came up with this question, it's obvious I've taught new shooters quite a few times, but it's just simply to come up with ideas and ways to support 2A. That's all. I don't want to get into the 2A.
Involved, the better.
Yep. I don't want to get too far into 2A in the show because we try not to do that. But this is just I posed a question in our host chat on Facebook, and Mike insisted that we present this question on this show because shooting is a critical part of reloading. You've got to test your ammo. Well, that's okay, and he's right, but the shooting part of it is more important in a way than reloading is, because you're not really interested in reloading if you're not shooting.
Right. The reloading is just a support for the shooting.
That's a fact.
And like you just said, though, there's a lot of stuff being lost nowadays, and reloading is one of them. There's a lot of people out there who don't want us to reload. They don't want us to have firearms. They don't want us to do the things that we enjoy. So anything that we can do to bring more people in is a good thing. And I'm sure all of us, we can look back, and one of the reasons we got into what we did is because we found some kind of enjoyment out of this. And like I said, I mean, you guys teach your young ones and whatever how you want, but I'm pretty adamant that if you kind of almost can trick them into doing what you want by just making them see how fun it is. And like I said, my daughter shooting at paper, I guarantee you she wouldn't care to go out and do that. We've done it, and loses interest real quick. But like I said, shooting at some balloons, anything that's reactive, you kind of tricked them and you hooked them. You got yourself a little shooter right there, because it's fun to see things explode and see things react. And yeah, I agree that teaching them sight alignment, all that's you have to do that if you want to hit your target. Yeah, but you want them to have fun first off. Be safe first off. Have fun second, and then everything will fall into place after that.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Chris Sharp just made a good point. Don't start a new shooter off with something that they can't handle. We've all seen those videos, and we all laugh at them, where a husband gives his wife just something that, or anybody, something that they just can't handle, and he knows that what he's doing, and it kind of scares them off, right? They're going to shoot that, and then they're going to kind of get gun shy, and they're not going to want to do that anymore.
They're not only is it stupid to take and knock your wife down with a 3-inch turkey load on a 12 gauge. That's not only that stupid, but the other thing is too, when you laugh at her and she's on her can, she's embarrassed. Now you've added insult to the injury. Don't do that. Whatever you do. And Chris, thank you. That's a very good suggestion. Yep. I've shot the 338 Lapua, and I've shot the 5.56. There's a big difference between the two. You don't give a wife your 44 Magnum, God, next thing you know, she'll be taking a hammer in the forehead. No, we don't do that.
Nope. Yep. Daniel Anderson said, pick a big enough target to get that hit and then work on sighting.
Yep. That's why I said 5-gallon bucket.
Yep. Teach them to shoot, then work on the rest later.
Exactly.
So
shoot center mass.
Idaho Rogers has a question for us. What was your bonehead moment? We've all had them, no matter how safe you try to be. You've had a bonehead moment. What's yours?
When I said that new shooters should try powder, should go to product coating. These turd birds, they perverted my statement into a ringtone.
You betcha.
Honestly, I think that's one we're going to have to think about. That'd be a good topic for next conversation. Then we can get Sharinda, Jason, all of us to answer that.
Paul Nelson just put up an excellent comment, a rebuttal. A bonehead move is to give someone a gun they can't handle.
Yep.
I know my wife has to shoot my 30 Harriet, and she wore the scope cut in the forehead.
Yep.
30 Harriet's known for being a pretty healthy recoiling cartridge, if you don't hold on to it. Idaho Rogers, I agree with you 100%. If you haven't had a bonehead moment, number one, you don't shoot that much. Number two, you're a liar.
Yep. So, excuse me. So a couple weeks ago, John's Hand Loading asked if you use a wad between the projectile and the powder and on the end of the cylinders.
I'm sorry, Mike. Can you say that again, please?
Yep. Hang on a sec. All right. So a couple weeks ago, John's Hand Loading asked in the chat, do you use a wad for between the projectiles and powder and on the end of the cylinders in black powder pistols? The question was in regards to when you're loading black powder, if you're not using fancy pellets and stuff or bullets and stuff, especially in revolvers, what you do is use a wad between the powder and the bullet, and that is to help the powder burn better without melting the bullet. So, but You do the same thing when you're doing black powder shotguns. Instead of using a wad like this in a shotgun, for a black powder shotgun, you're using powder, and then you're using a fiber wad, and then that type of thing. So, yes, you can. You don't need to use something on the end of the cylinder. The reason they ask about that question is, I don't remember what the technical term is. Basically, what happens when you fire one cylinder, the cylinder flash can theoretically ignite some of or all of the rest of the cylinders, which could be catastrophic. So that's why they're wondering. If your bullets are sized correctly, there's no need. If you're concerned, they make a wad. They also make a cylinder sealer that you can use. There's an actual like goo that you can slap in the end as well. So, typically,
Oh, so that's why I've seen old westerns where they've taken like bacon grease or something, right, and kind of plugged the cylinder holes. Is that was the point of that?
Yeah. Especially then, because they didn't. A lot of times they didn't have those wads in between the powder and the bullet, so you could get powder creeper on the bullet. So
that gives me thought that something about. Remember how we've talked about on heavy recoiling Magnum pistols, like a 44 Magnum, where the cartridge actually creeps backward off of the bullet. Is it possible you get bullet drift or bullet forward movement with the gun recoiling away from the projectile because of the inertia?
Yeah.
And stuck in the chamber and wind up actually, like you said, powder creep.
Yeah. So Paul Nelson said it's chain fire, and it's actually called an overwad that you can use.
Okay.
So Jorgen said he was reading on this a while back, and he said one fellow's testing showed a higher likelihood to chain fire using grease than not using anything, the bacon grease. I don't know if they actually used bacon grease or what they used, but I know one of the common ones now is Crisco, like Ray Rowden said. But there is actually a goo that they make specifically for that purpose too. That's not flammable and won't clog up your bore. I have two black powders, haven't shot either of them yet, so I had to go and ask. And most of the people I asked do not use an overwad or any sort of chemical on the end. So they're counting their Ray also said boar butter works well. So
Mike, excuse the reloader in me, but it sounds to me like what you're actually doing is you're using a projectile sized to fit the chamber with a mild force fit. That's what the lever is for on those cap and ball pistols.
I'll be right back. Hang on a sec.
And it sounds like it's just a very good close fit in the chamber. Paul Nelson, please help me out on that. Am I right? That's what you're doing. That's what they're actually using for making a seal of each chamber is the fit of the bullet, the lead bullet against the bore of the cylinder. Mike had to go incognito for whatever reason. Something must be going on at the house.
No, I think he's grabbing his black powder setup.
Oh, that's a good idea. Travis, am I right, or do you know?
I'm not the one to ask questions on black powder.
Yeah, neither am I.
What you're saying, though, I believe is correct. That's what I'm picturing.
Well, at least I'm not spouting gibberish. Chris Sharp wants to buy that ringtone from you, by the way.
Well, you send me a couple bucks, Chris. I'll send it your way.
Chris, I'll tell you what. give me the money. I'll do one for you personally.
Hey,
I won't forget to include the fact that you're a turd bird.
I think we're on to something.
Well,
Paul Nelson backed us up.
okay. So this is a 31 caliber black powder pistol. Percussion cap fired, as you can see by the little nipples on there.
Looks like 5 chambers.
Yep. Front of the cylinder. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see it.
You need your endoscope in that.
Yeah, that's in the other room. But what happens?
There we go.
So what happens here is this lever here is used to then become a ramrod down into the cylinder. And so you put your powder in your cylinder, and then you seat your bullet off to the side here, like specifically over here. So you'd seat your bullet here, rotate the cylinder into place, then press the bullet down, which then, as Paul Nelson says, or as Ray Rowden said, if done correctly, you should get a ring of lead when seating the bullets. So it's just like if you don't bell the case enough on a pistol.
Cartridge.
So, yeah, on a pistol cartridge. And you shave a little bit of lead off. So, and they actually make loading stands to put these in. So,
as small as that handgun is, I would imagine it'd be a lot easier.
Yeah. This is just
Mike's hands aren't especially big; they're rather average size.
So that's my Note 9 next to it, so you can kind of get an idea.
Yeah, it's fairly small. Paul Nelson answered my question also, and the question was, my comment is, what you're doing is you're actually forcing the projectile into the bore of the chamber to create a seal. And that's when Ray Rowden came up with the comment about, let me back up a little bit. If done correctly, you should get a ring of lead when you seat the bullet. And how come you need to behave?
I don't think he knows how.
Mike, read the host chat.
So, yeah, Chainfire said it is more probable if you carry pistol for the while. Not so much if you fire the pistol just after loading. Greg Wyatt says he also uses bore butter. So, but yeah, so it's kind of all about that. But yeah, so I mean that's kind of, it was nice to be able to answer that question for him. So, and on that note, that kind of pretty much rounds it up for tonight. So.
There's that squeaky chair. Made it all the way down from Pennsylvania.
Nice. So, anyway, gang, we're going to give a shout out to everybody that was live tonight. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the thumbs up, depending on whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Appreciate all the positive we can get. So, thank you very much. Thank you to everybody who downloads the audio version weekly. Thank you to everybody who sends us text messages to 608-467-0308 or emails to reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you to everybody that swings by firearmsradio.tv, hits up the Patreon link, or not the Patreon link, but hits up the affiliate links for Brownells and Amazon. It helps out the network. And a special thank you to all of our Patreons. So, excuse me. By the way, Mark said that all the Patreons get the ringtone for free. So if you want that ringtone, send me a message via Patreon and I'll get it to you. So thanks, everyone.
Yeah, it sounds like a good deal to me to sign up to become a Patreon just for that right there. I mean,
and on that note, gang, anybody got any shout outs?
nope.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Where's Nick?
I don't know. I didn't talk to him tonight. I think he's busy, but
okay.
So,
well, thanks, Ray. We appreciate your support anyway.
Yep. Appreciate all the good answers in the chat, all the good questions from the chat. So, yeah, Greg Wyatt, the one last little thought. Overwads, some people think that they have an effect on accuracy, which would make sense. So, because your bullet's now pushing something down the barrel versus just bore butter, which is just a lube. So, on that note, everybody, keep your brass shiny.
Don't forget to lube your bore.
Speaking of brass, I got to shine this up.
Support the Second Amendment. Take somebody shooting, teach the newcomer to shoot, and teach a lady to reload. She just might prove to you that she likes it. And we miss you, Sharanda. You need to get back on this show. Good night. Kick us off, Mike.
Good night, all.
Good night.